Restaurant Association of South Africa CEO Wendy Alberts joins me now for more. Wendy, I know that you're a feisty little lady, and I should imagine that the president was too petrified to say no to you. Clearly, he was listening. What's your response?
Absolutely. You know, we appreciate that the president has listened and everybody else has listened and they've heard us. But, you know, have they really truly understood? You know, we have to ask this question, have they understood what the needs of the industry are? And, you know, whilst we don't want to seem ungrateful and we're not appreciative of the next level, we can't let this be scathed as a smoke screen to us. You know, there are critical issues that we've discussed, and we need the right people who truly understand our business to put our best foot forward and represent us. You know, yet again, the core elements of our business has not been addressed. The devastation of the industry and the amount of debt that we've been imploded into hasn't been addressed. And when we come up with numbers like 50, some of our restaurants are sitting on close to 1,000 square meter properties. How do we even begin to make those margins work with 50 people? So again, you know, 50, the number 50, what does it come from? Where does it come from? Where's the scientific basis of how we formulate that we just magically appear to have a number of 50? And we need to...
So is it a bit of give and take at the same time?
Well, again, it's an inconsistent decision that's been made that's really going to have a massive ramification on the industry. So one, we still can't trade our core business. And then you expect us to do a lunchtime and a breakfast trade without a proper dinner time trade because the curfew impacts us. And then you're expecting our businesses, which are 300, 400, 500, 1,000 square meters, to be able to trade with 50 people. You know, this is just inconsistent decision making.
I guess, for those sort of restaurants
who don't understand our business. And, you know, we've got to look at this manipulated evidence that keeps putting through the inconsistencies of these decisions. And we're looking for that scientific document that draws a comparison between 500 people in a 1,000 square meter supermarket. Yet now we can only have 50 people in a restaurant. So, you know, we appreciate that we certainly are open. And I can tell you that the restaurant industry today is heartfelt because we're on our knees. We would take anything right now just to be able to work and to try and get people returning to work. But there are still hundreds and thousands of people who are sommeliers, who are barmen, baristas, who are wine attenders, who still aren't working, our cocktail makers, etc., and extension on the liquor trade as well, which is still not open. So, you know, we look at this gesture that's been put to us, but the gesture is going to continue to cripple us, and it's just going to leave me standing at the president's door tomorrow saying, please, you need to understand our business. We cannot trade with these limited capacity.
And will it be hard for restaurants, those who are lucky enough to be able to open, those who are able to squeeze in 50 and make it work for them, will it still be a problem, the fact that they can't get alcohol? Because I know a lot of restaurants obviously rely on that.
You know, there's so many components that make up the restaurant sector, as you know. We've got takeaways, we've got coffee shops, we've got sit-down restaurants, we've got cafes, bars, we've got all different types of experiential restaurants, sushi bars, etc. Small restaurants from 80 square meters to dining areas where we've got outside country restaurants, wine farms. And not everybody has been looked at in this model that's been presented now to go ahead with 50 people. So it's definitely not viable. And the big issue that we've got, which we keep calling to Minister Patel's office, is the landlords are calling for closure on us. They want their rentals, and the banks want their loan payments. And with 50 people and the overheads that we've got, it simply is not financially viable to be able to do this. So we certainly really have to open up these conversations, and we need a seat at the NCC. We need to be able to advocate for our own businesses, since there isn't a Minister of Tourism that's doing it for us. We need to put our expertise forward and for them to understand the disciplines and how sensitive the business model is an extension of the food chain. Everybody seems to have an opinion of what restaurants are about, but you don't know how to operate a restaurant unless you've actually run it, been in it, felt in it, worked with the people, the passionate people.
And I should imagine it's hard to prepare when you don't know what's happening from one week to the next.
Well, how do we bring back people to work with 50 people? It's no more than what we're having on takeouts. So whilst you can come now and enjoy a time in our restaurant, we're still not creating jobs. We're still not bringing people back to work. So whilst we've been fighting for the TERS, and we appreciate that the TERS was a big win, it's still not sufficient for us to be able to continue to pay our loans. So one, we've now sort of got a fractionality to transport the staff. the extended food chain is still not in any type of employment or to be able to come back and to support our businesses. And 3, the margins within a restaurant are simply not there for us to be able to keep our doors open. So the list that we've got of closures is just going to get longer, and the fatalities are going to be added to the list over the next week. And we're no better off in a position where we were in January before we reopened. You know, what we need to do is get back to the conversations we had in April, where we safely opened the businesses and we started to trade our core businesses, which is an accumulation of the experiences that people come into our businesses, making use of our outdoor areas, making use of the open spaces that allow people to be safe. And again, getting this data on this scientific document that I keep asking for, that I'm not going to let up on this week, that shows me that we are higher risk in having people safely, socially distanced in restaurants, as opposed to people standing 40 people in a queue deep to get their basket of groceries at a grocery store. It makes no sense. And again, I'm not going to accept the inconsistent decisions that's been put on our industry. We want our industry saved. We want respect. We want regard given to us. We want to save jobs. We want to show that we are respectful of the regulations that have been put out there. But we need government to work with us in a collaborative way. And this is not a collaborative way. This is a smokescreen. This is really just to keep us quiet for a very short moment in time. But tomorrow, I can assure you, we'll be at the President's door to completely explain the sensitivity of the restaurant model and how we need to reopen to be able to trade our businesses.